good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Okay, today we have a channeled message. And this channel message, we're gonna do something a little different. This is death before designer. All right, so I talked about last time, you guys, we were talking about basically wisdom, having discernment. Now, when we are able to have discernment and we're able to basically make sound decisions for ourselves and everyone involved, then we go on to next levels or next elevations. Now, the reason why this topic is so important, guys, is because you cannot go into next levels, next evolutions if you are afraid of change or if you are afraid to die. All right. Now, I have my book here. This is a new book, the Golden Book, y'all. And I have some like notes and things that I've written down. I'm sorry, you guys, if I'm like breathing, like keep taking like deep breaths, because when I like channel, like I talk really fast. Now, also, you guys, we're gonna say a quick prayer over this whole channeled messages, just so we have a kind of orb of protection on this video, so that no lower vibration entities can come in and distort you from this message and what you're supposed to be receiving from this message. All right. So if you don't want to pray with us, go ahead and I'll put the timestamps in for when the actual video drops. All right. So everyone bow your heads. We're gonna go ahead and start. So, dear Lord, dear God, okay, I pray that we have an orb of protection around this video, around this channeled message. I pray that everyone who comes to this video gets the enlightenment and the messages and the downloads that they need in order to activate their DNA, in order to go into new evolvement in their life. God, I ask that angels, you protect this video. I ask that you guys put an orb of protection around the people watching this video, around their homes and around their minds, their bodies and their souls, so they can take in this message. In the name of God, in the name of the light, I pray, we pray, amen. Okay, 222, let's get it. All right, so death before designer, what exactly does that mean? Now, I talk about stars, star seeds, all of that a lot, okay, you guys? So we talk about being a star, being influential, being at the top, things of that nature, okay? Bringing in those gifts that you need, right? Now, when you encounter death, when you encounter change, when you go from rags to riches, that is a major shift in your life. Now, a lot of times we hear about rappers and artists who, you know what I'm saying? Not even rappers and artists. We're not going to marginalize or make it a small type of concept. We're just going to say popularity, influencers, people who are in the public eye of any kind, or someone who is influential of any kind, right? Okay, so we hear about these people who, when they get to the top, you know what I'm saying, they are extremely depressed, or they're extremely mentally unstable, or you know what I'm saying, they can't handle the hardships of what comes with those next elevations. Now, this is not just to say about stars. This could be about any level in your life. This could be pregnancy. This could be motherhood. This could be stepping into your purpose. This could be, you know, speaking out about something. Anything that causes you to transform in a huge magnitude is something that you should be able to embrace, okay, with liberation, and not be afraid or not deteriorate from a certain thing that's going to cause you to grow. Now, when we say death before designer, a lot of times designer is money, designer is wealth. That's what I mean by designer. Okay, I'm going to be using a lot of parables, so you guys are going to be able to read in between the lines, because a true teacher, I'm not going to just tell you guys information, okay? I'm going to help you guys exercise your mental agility, right? So now let's go ahead. So designer is when you get to that place where you're at, I guess, one of the highest levels that you've ever been, your primes, things of that nature, okay? So before you get to the designer, there's going to be lower entities, vibrations that try to break you, okay? There are going to be lower entities and vibrations that are going to try to oppress you. There are going to be lower entities and vibrations that are going to try to break your spirit, okay? So when we're talking about death in this video, this is death of the spirit, all right? Because a lot of times in this world, we say, okay, we want to be rich. But how can you be rich? How can you be successful if you do not understand the spiritual concept of things, right? How can you be understanding of life? How can you teach? How can you be a student if you're not understanding the element of what's going on around you, right? So let's keep going into it. Now, when you are in a dead predicament, meaning dead within the heart, the spirit, okay, you are not able to have discernment. That's why we did that wisdom video, because discernment is the heart is the soul, right? Now let's get into it. I have two definitions for you guys. We have a scientific definition of what death is, okay? And then we have a spiritual definition of what death is, so that you guys can know the physical and the esoteric, or the physical and the spiritual of what you're getting into when you require a level of change or evolution in your life, okay? Whew, sorry guys, long-winded. I try not to be long-winded. All right, what is death? This is the textbook meaning. Death is the permanent ending of vital processes in a cell or tissue. Right? So when I did this note, I underlined permanent because we think of death as permanency. We think of death as the unknowing. We think of death as never coming back to life. We think of death as all of these things, right? So now we have to get into fear and death. How do these contribute? How are these put together? We're going to get into that after I go into the spiritual meaning, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood the scientific law behind what this is, and how to read in between the lines of scientific definitions, right? So this is the permanent, right? So when we talk about having discernment, we're going back to last video. You have to understand, is what you're perceiving scientific or esoteric? I can tell you some knowledge, right? I can say you have a twin flame relationship, and two people observe this, and one person says, well, this looks like a very karmic relationship, because no person who is meant to heal you or meant to help you in an evolutionary way is going to hurt you on purpose, right? And then you have the other person, you say, well, this is a twin flame relationship because all of the scientific astrological planes match up, all right? So we have the same chart, or our charts are the exact polar opposites in Vedic or anything of that nature. So it's the ability, you guys, I'm trying to teach you on how to discern or how to perceptualize two different perceptions. All right, similes, metaphors, things like that. Think of that. All right. Now, the spiritual meaning of death is: death occurs, physically speaking, when there is a sensation of activity involving the heart. So basically, when the heart stops to beat or ceases to beat, it no longer has a beat. It no longer holds spirit. When you no longer hold spirit, you no longer hold power. When you no longer hold power, you no longer hold will. And when you no longer hold will, you are no longer able to protect yourself from lower entities that may want to come in between you, your purpose, you, your kids, you, your foundations, you, your empire, things of that nature, right? Let's keep going. Okay, it continues to say, however, death is not yet complete, for the brain is the last organ of the physical body to die. The crown chakra. The brain, to me, when I got a visual representation of exactly what this meant, was crown chakras, being able to still receive guidance or omens or things from the divine. So say, for instance, you guys, I am someone who's spiritually dead, right? Say, for instance, I don't know how to discern, right? But when you are spiritually dead, your crown chakra is still activated, meaning you're still able to receive information, receive knowledge, receive energy, right? You may not be able to distribute it, but that's why death is not the final, because if you're constantly able to receive, then you can flip that reciprocation into something where you are able to Six of Pentacles it, give and receive it, right? So this is kind of the phoenix type of symbolization, rising from the ashes. When every odd is against you, when everyone thought you finally died, even Jean Grey, that force field that comes within you, okay? So let's keep going. I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but hey, it is what it is. This is the way I am. Okay. Okay. Then Okay, then it goes on to say, even when the heart has stopped, the brain and memory are still active. So even when someone is spiritually dead, we're living around spiritually dead people all the time, guys. All right, you know, people who are not willing to go that next step. Okay, people who are in that Five of Pentacles energy, that poor man's mindset, expecting people to give them things and expecting people to do for them, and being bitter about things that they can no longer change, and not willing to change because of the death, because they're not willing to die, right? Because they're afraid of what happens after the death, right? They say the death isn't painful, it's the rebirth that's what's painful, right? Because now you have to be able to build your life back with new perceptions, new connotations, new thoughts in your mind, things of that nature. So change is evolutionary because it's hard to change. Change is monumental because it is hard to change. You know how many generations we've been trying to get everyone to get along? You know how many generations we've been trying to stop certain things? You know how long we've been trying? But one man teaches one man, that man teaches another man, and then we have secession. Now, it keeps going on to say, then the mortal and material portions sink into oblivion, oppression, while the reincarnating ego carries the best and noblest parts of thyself. Now, let's get into this. When in a scientifical way you are deceased, okay, they say your life flashes before your eyes. You start to see, you know what I'm saying, everything that your life could have been. But this is also what happens when you are spiritually dead. You know, say for instance, for example, you get old and you haven't accomplished the things that you may have wished you accomplished, and you say, well, damn, you're thinking about all the things that you should have did. That is a spiritually dead soul. Any change can occur at any time. You guys, I swear to God, on my life, I promise you, I wanted to kill myself every single day. I had people who wanted me to be spiritually dead every single day. But something kicked in, I swear, when I was at my breaking point, and I just kind of went to overdrive, right? So a breaking point. All right. Now, in a physical or in a scientific way, when the ego is reincarnating, you're finding another body, you're finding another soul, right? But if you are powerful enough to reincarnate in one lifetime, you are able to kill off the ego, and you are able to basically bring in or usher in a whole new embodiment or a whole new energy. Now, let's continue to go on. I hope you guys are following me. All right. So lastly, guys, I just have a little Bible verses that kind of coincide with everything that I was saying. So here we are. We have Corinthians 15:26. It says, the last enemy to be destroyed is death. If you can overcome death, you cannot die. Right? That's my message. But the message is the last enemy to be destroyed is death. Okay? Because that's the thing that we're most afraid of. We consider death to be the final, the end. But it's really the beginning. Right? So if people keep delaying death, we'll never have a beginning. If people keep being afraid to die, if people keep preaching the wrong agenda, we'll never change. Right? Then our second Bible verse is Hebrews 2:15. I actually read in Hebrews when I do read the Bible because I like the original messages. Okay, it says that through death he might destroy the one who has power of death, that is the devil, and deliver all those who through fear of death were subject to lifelong slavery. Right? There's another passage in the Bible when it basically mentions how basically we're oppressed because we're so afraid of things that we don't even know. Like, say for instance, people are so afraid to die, right? And it's like, what happens after death, right? You imagine it to be so painful, so hurtful, right? When you never know, outside of death, outside of fear is bliss, is abundance. You never know. But again, we're not talking about that scientific death, but in order to have even a spiritual approach, you need that scientific approach first, you guys. So I thank you guys for joining me with this this message. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video.